Hello, YouTube! Welcome back to another episode of Factorio. My name is Tanis Fugit. Welcome to the Fugitive Theater. Now, before we get this episode on the way, I have to say that it is a beautiful day up here in New York. It is mid-70s. It's a beautiful sunny day, but that means that the spring insects are going insane, and my house has been invaded by I would say a veritable army of ladybugs, and while I am doing my best to shepherd them out of the house as effectively as possible, I gotta do some recording, so there's only so much I can do. So if I, suddenly make a noise or get distracted, it might just be because I've been dive bombed by a ladybug and that I am trying to get it out of here as effectively as possible without doing any damage to it. So I'm just going to warn you that, because literally just as I was about to hit the recording button, I got dive bombed by one. So we're going to do our best here today. Hopefully that's all right to you guys. Anyway, as you might have noticed, as I suggested at the end of our last episode, I went through and made everything red. All of these belts in this area have all been swapped out for red undergrounders, red splitters, red belts. Not everything. These are fast transport belts. Not literally everything all up and down the bus has become red belts. There's still a lot back here that are just regular belts. Sort of as we get farther and farther back to some of this stuff. Some of it's just regular transport belts. But a good amount of what we've already done has been replaced with red belts. So a couple of things have been happening while I did that, because that took a while for me to do off stream. So I noticed a couple of things. Well, first of all, tech-wise, I just did a lot of maintenance techs. By that I mean stuff that doesn't unlock anything new, but helps us with what we've already been doing. So for instance, I unlocked a lot of shooting speed, weapon damage, I don't remember what the other things I unlocked were, but I unlocked a couple of just basically maintenance techs along the way. Nothing that actually opens up anything new. Right now I'm working on mining productivity. And I have also sort of extended our base defenses, because we're touching this base with our fog, we're touching this base with our fog, we're touching these bases with our fog, and they are throwing attacks at us. Right now they're very small attacks, and I just have a couple of turrets at each point that they've showed up at. They've done minor damage. I was able to respond quickly and shore them up every time they hit a new spot, and then I just would put down more turrets in those spots. See, there's a group from the south coming up this way. The group from the east will hit here eventually. They haven't really started launching attacks yet. I've got, a gun up here, which is right now firing on the enemy, as you can see. So, yep. Actually, I want to check something. Hold on. I will pause the recording. I'm going to be right back with something, because I want to check something. Hold on. I'll be right back. Welcome back, guys. I wanted to double check to see if there was any sound issues happening, because I'm not hearing some of these alerts go off, and there also seems to be other sounds that I'm not sure that I'm hearing right, but I'm not sure if maybe that's just on me. I'm not really sure, because there's usually a beeping sound when there's fighting happening, so I'm not really sure what's going on with that. Maybe that's only if it's unresponded, if it's actually doing damage it beeps up, and the yellow alerts don't. I'm not really sure, but either way. So what are we doing today? We're a few minutes into the video. I should actually talk about what we're going to be doing in this video. Right now, I think the next major step for me, in my mind, is working towards the transition into solar power. Solar power. And one of the main things that's going to need, what's going to need a lot of things. First of all, we'll have to build solar cells. Just say I haven't even researched yet. But solar cells are going to need steel plates, need a bunch of electric circuits. So, we'll have to set up a whole block to build some of these. But also what it needs are those, as I mentioned during the last episode, we need these electronic capacitors, these accumulators, and they need batteries, right? Batteries need sulfuric acid, so all that needs to be produced here in order for us to be able to expand fully into solar power. Sulfur's here. Sulfuric acid needs iron plates, which are up here. The battery themselves also needs iron plates, and they need copper plates. So I think with all of that being said, also we're kind of running into a weird sort of spot here with our with our bus, right? We could keep going east if we really wanted to, but I think since we're going to run into some like cliff stuff here, I actually think it might be better if I get to right beyond where I've been creating these red belts, and I just turn south and I run the belt this way, the bus rather, this way. What'll happen is as I get to around here, I will be able to break off some iron and break off some of this and drag some water down, because it also needs water. So I'll put a pump on one of these water sources up here, draw the water down, get some iron down here, break off these belts, and make a whole bunch of sulfuric acid. Once I make a whole bunch of sulfuric acid, then I'll also have the resources nearby to turn that sulfuric acid into batteries. So I think that's what I'm going to do. So give me just a minute and I will route all of this across using our fancy new red logistics equipment, and I'll get that all over here and we'll start producing batteries. All right, I'll see you on the other side of this. Alright, welcome back, guys. So here's what we've done so far. As you can see, I routed the rest of the bus straight down here. I added a water line. This is literally just pulling water out of that little reservoir of water to the north there, and it's pumping it all the way down here. Is this efficient? No, but, you know, I'm pretty far. That's the closest water source, and I have seen games where you end up setting up so far away from water that you've got to pump this thing like half a continent away. So I'm not too worried about the distance I'm pumping this water. The pumps don't seem to lose any particular force over distance. I might be wrong about that. I'm sure the people who know the game's mechanics in and out would be able to clarify that one way or the other. But I broke off a little bit of sulfur. I've brought over a little bit of iron, and with the iron, the sulfur, and the water, that is enough to create sulfuric acid. And I've got, you know, so we've now broken it down into sulfuric acid. With sulfuric acid, we can make batteries. Batteries need an iron plate and a copper plate, as well as this sulfuric acid. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to think about how I want this to go, actually. So batteries need 1 iron plate and 1 copper plate every 4 seconds. Which is easily enough accomplished by like a single, well, let's just say a single fast rotator, a single fast inserter off a double belt. So I can put 1 iron and 1 copper together on the same belt. So let's try and do that. Let's do, well, actually, I can just take it off of this. So let's just do, oh, I need a couple of splitters. I'm going to need 2 splitters and then a 3rd splitter. I'm going to need 3 splitters. So what I've been doing to create my splitters is coming over here to grab iron gear wheels off of this line, which is going into my engine creators. And then I'm just grabbing some of these green circuits off of the red circuit creator. And that's generally enough to create a few splitters. Let's make another one just for show, because it's nice to just have a few of these. Let's say I want to split it off about right around here, maybe. Seems good. Well, I should make sure, because here's what's going to want to happen. I'm going to want to make a single splitter that's like here. And I'm going to want that to go down onto screwed it up. Something like that. There we go. And then this is like that. Okay. Yeah, that's gonna be fine. It's not ideal, I don't think, but it will be fine. So if I just extend this out just so that I know what I'm dealing with space-wise, I can set an underground to... Yeah, that's really not quite gonna work, is it? No, there's 2 spots here. Yeah, that's fine. That'll be just fine. And then I go a splitter here and one here, and then we just run these guys down onto it. That's sort of the idea, right? Sure seems to be. And then over. There we go. 1 iron plate, 1 copper plate. Got some sulfuric acid, and I'm going to set up just 2. Not many, just 2 chemical plants right here. Although this is somewhat extendable, so I can do this however I kind of want to do it. So let's go like... One, 2, and I could set up a couple more if I really felt like I needed it. These are going to come along 1 away here. And I mean, I could undo this so that it's more efficient, but I don't have to. And then I guess instead of... But yeah, we're doing something a little bit weird, I think. But let me uncouple this water pipe for just a second here. And the reason I'm going to do this is, well, you'll see in a second. I'm going to put these inserters in. Now these are going to create batteries, which are solid objects. Actually, I need to make sure that you, like, I know what your inputs are. Yeah, okay. That's basically what is expected. Actually, can I do it like this? Is this even gonna work? Unconvinced this is gonna work like this. I might have to take these off of the center. These might have to go like here and here. Is that gonna work? That should. Under, up, line, under. Yeah, that'll work. So now if I go like pipe, 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 under, up, pipe, that should connect everything up. And now I just need power over here. So I do something like power one side, power the other side, and then connect this to the grid, like so. And now, since you guys are making a battery every, what, 4 seconds? Yeah, we only need slow inserters for this, so we'll pick up 2 quick slow inserters, and we'll go, well, let's set up a belt first, where we're grabbing... I guess we'll do it like this. It's probably not necessary, but it's actually probably a little silly, but there we go. Okay, so now we've got batteries being made. So the reason that I set this up like this is that you're no longer producing any more sulfuric acid, and eventually what's in these pipes is going to get used up. I can actually even force that by, like, joining the pipes together, like so. There. Now all of these pipes are all in the same network, and they will be drained as they get turned into batteries. And I want that because I want to destroy this, but I don't want to, like, have wasted any product. I want to, like, tear up these pipes, which didn't end up being used, but I don't want to waste... I want to waste as little product as possible while doing that. So I'm going to actually watch this as it depletes out of these pipes, because it is being spent. Yeah, the flow is going back and forth. The reason that the numbers are, like, weird and inconsistent is because, like, there's constant flow calculations happening. All right, at this point, these are considered empty, and now we can just start taking them apart, and there we go. Okay, now I can reattach this so that you can start making, and boom. I think one of these can support like 4 of these producing batteries. So I should, yeah, this is just going to cap up, no problem. Okay. By the way, mining productivity finished. So let's go in and making some stuff that we can actually use. I think the next one is going to be cliff explosives, because we are hitting a bunch of cliffs with this here, you know, with this bus setup. Even if I turn south, you might have noticed, you know, eagle-eyed viewers will have noticed that I'm going to run into cliffs eventually anyways. But that's what these cliffs explosives are going to be used for. We need to make explosives. We need to put them in barrels with a grenade, and that's the cliff explosive. That might be something that, I don't know, I make a handful in my hand if I can, just because I don't need many of these. I don't really want to devote an entire like production facility to this, but I don't know. 10 explosives at a time, it costs a lot. But we'll see what we can do. We'll research the cliff explosives for now, and there we go. Okay. Still more fighting happening. This one in the very, very deep inland. So like I was very incorrect, by the way. In the last episode I said that, you know, like I have to protect my rails because they will tear up the rails. Actually, they're completely ignoring the rails. The biters are absolutely ignoring the rails 100% and are going straight for the production facilities. So I don't know why I thought they were gonna try and fight my rails and that I had to defend the actual rail lines, but they do not care for my rail one little bit. They completely ignore them, which is very interesting, I find. But anyway, we're my batteries. Batteries are a very important sort of middle step. And we need them for these accumulators. And these need 5 batteries every 10 seconds to produce an accumulator every 10 seconds. So that means that it needs a battery every 2 seconds. Now, the facilities that are making batteries are making a battery every 4 seconds. 2 of them are making 2 batteries every 2 seconds. Sorry, 2 of these are making 1 battery every 2 seconds, which is exactly what we need. We need 1 battery every 2 seconds. So 2 of these are enough to completely fill 1 accumulator. One thing using accumulators. And actually, should I use even the same? Should I split off this again to do the facility that's going to be making that? Probably. Let me make a single production facility, because that's all we really need. Let's plunk it down right about here. Say. And we need a single long-handled inserter. Just going to go here. And then we need a fast short inserter, which is going to go here. And that's going to be what's going to grab these guys. Put power here. And attach the whole thing to the grid here. That's very silly of me. I don't know why I would do that. Attach it to the grid here. Here we go. Now, yeah, I think we're just going to use the same thing again. The same setup here we've already got. And I'm going to go ahead and turn this south. Go under what we've already got. As far as it'll let me go. And then just turn inward and just route it straight down that way. There we go. Now I need to set because this is going to produce 1 accumulator every 10 seconds. So I just need a slow inserter. And I take the slow inserter and I put it out this way. And I take a whatever chest that I've got and I set it to just maybe 2 stacks. And you make accumulators. Yeah, you should be plenty fast enough to pull all of these things off, and it should never have any problem producing. So there it is. So now as this produces accumulators, 1 every 10 seconds, they go into this chest, and this chest will eventually stack. I'm betting probably 100 of these. I'm guessing 2 stacks of 50. And 100 accumulators at any given time is more than enough. Cliff explosives are done. By the way, that's the end of this sort of tree of the production line. Cliff explosives are the end of my sort of high explosives here. Not for weapons, though. Weapons go into like rockets and stuff like that, which actually we almost have access to. We're just a bit short on some things, but so the next step is, I think for me, we're going to start grabbing solar energy. And we're going to start looking at getting these solar panels up and running. So I'm going to start setting up facilities to create them right now. So I need 5 copper plates, 5 steel plates, 15 electronic circuits every 10 seconds. So that means copper plates and steel plates are going to go on a bus together, or are going to go on a line together. And then the 15 electronic circuits are going to go on another line. And basically, it's going to be a little bit awkward. Yeah. Spacing is going to be a little bit awkward, I think, but it will be fine. So copper plate, steel plate, electric circuits. So obviously that means I'm going to need to, right around here, create a production line for electronic circuits. So I've created a bunch of these before. And I need 15. So in order to create these, let's actually go in here. So I need 15 electronic circuits every 10 seconds, which means I need 1.5 circuits every second. A facility that makes electronic circuits makes them at a rate of... Let's see, under intermediate productions, makes them at a rate of 1 every half a second, which means they make 2 every second. So I need 2 facilities making electronic circuits, which means I'm going to make a setup very similar to what I've got here. 5, 2, and that'll be enough circuits for me to get going on solar panels. So I need 5 production facilities, which I believe, oh, I've got just enough for in my hand. By the way, you might have noticed this setup here. Why am I doing it like this? Because by changing out all of my yellow belts for red belts, I had a whole bunch of leftover yellow belts that I needed to get rid of. So, see, I've got a facility producing yellow belts. I've actually disconnected that from this factory. I want to use up the ones I already have before I do take on any more. So I've got, you know, this factory, which is going to be spending these old yellow belts first before it actually starts taking in new yellow belts. So I need to set up a facility to create these things. So how do I do it over here? It's actually a pretty interesting setup that I've got going over here. And I think that's exactly what I want to do again. So we're going to set up our split. We're going to go 1 here, 1 here. We're going to take our right turn off of it, and we're going to go this way. Let's go way out, because I don't know what else is going to be on this belt. And we're going to go 1, 2, 3. And then, yeah, off the other side of those is where the other one's going to come in. So this needs to continue over to the center of that. And yeah, fast inserters into the center. 1 fast inserter in, 1 fast inserter out. Copying my own design. Each one of these, 1 in, 1 out, right in the center. Power, power, power. Do I have my, yeah, I do have my bigger power poles. Try and make sure that it's like attached, and then I can sort of run this up to my existing power systems. Sort of that way, so that joins up with my existing power. And then you guys are producing wire. And then I gotta bring... like this. So I'm gonna need more splitters. Thankfully I picked up enough stuff to build some random splitters in my hand. So we're gonna split this off. We're gonna run it underground. Oh, except I can't do that, can I? It's actually a little bit awkward because I added this to it. It actually might not be so bad, because I think you can load into the side of an underground. I do need to make an underground now. One I don't have resources for right now. Grab a bunch of these. Oop, I'm also grabbing a bunch of... Well, I guess it was pipes, which I needed anyway. Or might eventually need. A single underground, that is all I need. This is mostly for testing purposes, I think. You need to be on this line, so we're gonna go as far over as you can. And this is gonna go like this. Does that work? I think so. Yes, it does. Okay. That's cool. I wasn't actually sure if that was gonna work like that, but it seems to. So now you're split off that way. And we'll bring you over to there. And this line extends outward into the last two production facilities. Two. And that's what, yeah, makes the circuits. And then the circuits are going to pop out over here, which is actually a little bit awkward. That's not exactly where I'd want them to go. So I might actually, like, break these, have this go up here, and actually, like, this, which is definitely, I would say, awkward, but not as awkward as having the circuits come out of a spot I don't want them to. And then these circuits will go, because the circuits are just one step. So I'm not actually sure where they're gonna go yet. So that's fine. So one in, one out, I believe. I've actually got, no, 2 in, 1 out for each one of these. We're gonna go 2 in, 1 out. That. Go you and you. And you guys are making green circuits. Here we go. Okay, so another facility making green, another set of facilities making green circuits. Very useful. Okay. So that's the solar energy taken care of. So now we just need to get copper plates and steel plates. So we've got our copper plates, which are broken off once. So we're just going to break this off and go to the actual facilities. I really think I just need one facility making solar panels. Might be wrong about that. I think I might actually want 2. But if I need 2, then that means that I actually need to double this. So now we're just going to go with 1. We have 1 facility making solar panels, and that means that I need to bring steel down here. I actually have to get steel on my way out here. So give me a minute here. I'm gonna route I'm gonna route steel down here and get it broken off and get this facility making making solar panels, and then we'll start talking about how we're gonna change up our power system. All right, I'll be back in just a minute. Alright, welcome back, guys. So, as you can see, we now have one facility producing energy accumulators and one facility producing our solar panels. This is going to be really important when it comes time to expand, well, to change up our power system. So as you can see, right now we're actually doing quite well on power. But it's at the expense of having a whole bunch of coal-fired boilers, producing a ton of this smog, which is just increasing our visibility to the enemies and causing them to come at us, right? Well, solar is a way to like bypass this mechanic very heavily. And one of the cool ways, and basically what we're going to do is we're going to set up systems that other people have done the math for me. I wish I could say I did this math myself, but this is not a situation where I'm going to do the math myself. Instead, what we're going to have here is we're going to have a situation in which I'm going to be using other people's design, things that are publicly available out there, to create like blocks of photovoltaic solar cells that have exactly as many solar cells to accumulators as are needed to make sure that within each block the power is effectively distributed and utilized and saved. And then I'm going to put enough of those blocks that are tileable across a very large area, and eventually by having enough of those blocks of solar cells, I'm going to produce enough energy that even though the sun is only shining for X amount of hours in a day, it will still produce enough energy to continue to spend all of that energy out of the accumulators overnight, and none of my stuff ever shuts down. By the time the morning comes, the accumulators still have a charge, they haven't run out entirely, and the sun starts shining and we start producing and refilling those accumulators. That's the goal. And yeah, we're going to do that by having a whole bunch of solar cells, a whole bunch of accumulators, and it's going to be a lot of fun. But that's not we're not going to do that right now, because like I said, we're really good on power right now. There's no real reason for me to go screwing around with power. Actually, well, let me start another piece of research and you'll see what I mean. Actually, let's start a research that like uses all of our higher end stuff. Let's go with Stronger Explosives 3, just because it uses all 4. So this will start all of our systems going, right? As the labs over here start consuming all of the different like types of research at the same time. By the way, how pretty is this? This is so freaking, I love this so much. Just wait until we get all the different colors going. All the different facilities are all going to have to start operating eventually over time, like as this starts to go. Because they're going to all start producing, they're all going to start pulling, all this stuff is going to start being used by lots of different places. These guys are all ticking away, producing their cells and accumulators. And of course the labs themselves are going. So now let's check power. And like, it's not even a thing. Like I mean, still, even with all this stuff going, somehow our radars are the ones producing the most like draw on the system, which by the way, those radars have long since, like we put those there many episodes ago. It is time to move them. I think for me, I would want to move them. I mean, major base is going to be set up down here. We're going to set up a major base down here, and one over here as well. So I'm thinking something like, I don't know, moving it to like here and setting up a bunch of defenses around it so that it doesn't get immediately wiped off the map by these. It's a lot of bases that it's going to anger. I don't know, maybe it's better to pick it up and move it over here where I'm already set up in, which by the way, I like extended all this out, and this defensive emplacement here is no longer going to be helpful to defend all of this, so we should tear this up. And we should just put this whole thing forward a bit. I'm just going to go ahead and collect all of these out of my, off of me and put them in here. And we're going to put these guns down. Well, we put them on the high ground. That's actually quite cool. I actually quite like that idea. Placing them on the high ground. I mean, this is kind of a natural choke point, though. Like, this is actually a great place to try and be defending from these attacks. So, yeah, I think I'm just going to go, like... like that. These were damaged in an earlier fight, so I'll let them just go ahead and heal them up fully here. There we go. And then we'll put those walls back down around them. There we go. There we go. Nice little kill box. This is a very nice natural funnel point. So if these guys ever do want to attack, they kind of have to come through here. These are not... I would never destroy these cliffs. These are actually in a great spot. It's these sort of cliffs down here that eventually our bus is going to run into that we'll be destroying with the cliff explosives. See, this is shocking to me now. We seem to be running out of batteries. How is this happening? I guess we're not, because you've just got so many in reserve that it's actually not a problem. Oh, never mind. Only one part of the battery. Never mind. I'm being dumb. I didn't think that was actually going to be enough to cause us a problem. I was very confused. I could actually set up a second one of these making these, but that doesn't seem to be a problem. My problem is more over here, where I bet I could actually set up a second facility making these, because these produce so slowly. Let's try and put up a second facility just because of how insanely slowly these produce. Do you need steel? You do need steel, but I actually have plenty of steel. That's not what I'm missing. I'm missing copper and iron as usual. Just make a few of these. Let's try and make one more facility here. Plug in here. Let's just make a regular inserter, which again we also don't have a ton of. Let's make a few. So those are useful for making the other inserters. So let's just go down. Let's... Ah! That's not what I meant to do! Great big old mistake. You are making... Well, alright, let's jigger this since I've screwed it up. Since I've screwed it up, let's actually fix our situation here. One long-handled inserter, one fast inserter, one regular inserter here, going into a box. Oh, and I picked up all those solar cells, which is fine. Yeah, I am gonna have to put up another one of these. All right, that's unfortunate. I was hoping to be able to do this without... I mean, I could, like, put it over here, I guess. That would just be slightly more efficient. Hold on. Let's try and put this, like... I mean, I could put it, like, right here, I guess. That's in the range of everything. And it puts the box right next to the machine, which is sort of where... approximately where it was before. That. And now you guys are making... Now there's two making solar cells. Maybe that'll be... I'm hoping that won't... I mean, there's going to be a heavy draw right at the beginning as they both try and fill up for like 2 or 3 runs. But after that, it should slow down significantly. And I think these facilities will actually keep up with this. I think. I might be wrong. Yeah, but either way, it's fine. I'm not too worried about it. Okay. That was pretty successful, I think. We did quite a bit of good work this episode. We extended the bus and we got a whole another set of production facilities going. We're creating, you know, batteries, which were being used to create power accumulators. We've got a whole block over here, which is eventually producing our photovoltaic cells. We're ready to change up our power situation. We are, you know, we're great on power for how it is right now. We're considering what we're going to do about the radars. I think we're going to move the radars somewhere over here, protected by our new wall here. I might do that at some point soon. But other than that, I mean, I'm pretty comfortable with where we are right now. So I think for the time being, I'm going to end this episode. Thank you guys for stopping by. My name has been Tanis Fugit. Thank you for stopping by the Fugitive Theater. And, you know, if you like the video, like it, subscribe to the channel, all that stuff that you know by now I don't like saying. But it does help. So, see you guys next time. Bye-bye.